trick is what makes you powerful.
And you know what I'm saying? Here's what I believe about even like just judgment and things like this. People always talk about, yo, moral of the story, right? People always talk about like, yo, you can't judge me. You know what I'm saying? Only God can judge me. Only God can judge me. Yes, you know what I mean? And in that sense, your higher self can judge you. The self that observes all these things happening and probably may not have words to explain what the fuck is going on, but it's the same thing that builds the environment that you're around. Because think of it, number one, you make the judgments of what's right and wrong for you. You are the controller. You are the observer. You know what I'm saying? Controller to some degree. But like, yeah. No, actually, entirely. Yeah, you are the controller of your own awareness, of your own consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So even the traditions, the customs, all of these things that you learn to make you who you are, you know what I'm saying? You're the one that gives the autonomy, you know, for even people who control you. You're the one that give them the power to control you. Because you can always say, nah, I'm gonna fall back to what I believe is gonna help me to survive, right? Even if it means, yo, I'm growing older and I have to like reject what my family has been like placing in my head. You know what I'm saying? You see the judgment that happens like pre you understanding the world, pre you identifying who you want to be. You get to a point where it's either you're gonna carry on with what you've learned, you know what I'm saying, as a belief system for you to develop, or you're gonna recreate that. And by recreating that is letting go or retaining what you think is still beneficial for your growth, right? From the days when you were unconscious, from the days when you were like a kid and things were supposed to be decided for you. You understand? You get to a point where you adult. You start to mature, dog. You start to make these decisions for your own self, being aware of your own environment. And that requires judgment. You gotta judge it, nigga. But you gotta realize though that the judgment begins and it ends with you. You know what I'm saying? You may believe, whether consciously or subconsciously, you may believe that your judgment affects other people. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you telling, oh, you fat pig, you fat bitch, da 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 da. It may affect them if they're not mentally, if they're as weak as you are mentally. It does affect them. So basically, essentially, you and the person that you judge are one and the same thing. Especially if your judgment comes from a place where, you know, you're trying to hide your own insecurity. The video said it clear as day. You hide your own insecurities. You you overdo things, aka you exaggerate. You use exaggeration, overcompensation, overperformance. You know what I'm saying? Moreover, that's all over judgment. That's judgment. You overly judging things based off of how you believe things are supposed to be, you know, still stuck together. Because we trying to survive. So why you looking all fat, bro? Why you obese like this, bro? We all gonna die if you carry on like, you know what I'm saying? That motherfucker scared. You know what I'm saying? That's just one example. Didn't mean to body shame. Just an example, my bad. So literally your judgment creates your world. It creates your world. So another thing that I want to raise, right, is the fact that it has nothing to do with your external world. Your judgment has everything to do with you. That's what I got from the video. It has everything to do with you. Sometimes it's not even about expressing your judgment of the world, like expressing how you think things should be in the name of survival, right? Or in the name of just building yourself to what you think you have to become. That's good and dandy, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta realize that you doing that, you trying to control your environment, it comes from a lack of self-control. Because here's another thing that popped up in my head, right? Is that, what if you just let everything go to whatever extreme it wants to go? Okay, yes, I fear that I am not going to have anybody. Like, so for some reason, that's a fear of mine. Let me let it go. Let me let it go that far. Let me not have nobody. And let me see where shit ends up. Right? It's like, that kind of thing is necessary if you ask me, because it's gonna take you to that very core that you're afraid of, that very place you're afraid of, and it might probably prove that there's nothing to be afraid of, right? You know? And so therefore, okay, here's an unpopular take, right? I feel like the world is built and the world is where it's at right now. The world as we know it, everything, right? Every sort of world, right? Physical world, mental world, blah blah, emotional world, social world, political world. Everything is where it's at because of these judgments, right? Because of these insecurities, because of these fears, right? Because you don't, like, as in, for example, we decide to manifest whatever we want to manifest because we believe and we have judged that it is good for us. Anything besides this is not good for us, or, you know, at least is unnecessary for our advancement as humans. So you're gonna make the decisions you make based off of that judgment. You understand what I'm saying? So you make the decisions you make talking about, I want to work my ass off because I don't want to see my kids starve. Which is it's a good thing. You got to do what you got to do to create that reality for yourself where nobody's starving. You understand what I'm saying? Now imagine you were, you know, so conscious to be like, yeah, nah, you know what? I'm just afraid of blah blah blah. So let me not listen to that train of thought because it's just telling me about my fear. And you know what? I'm not trying to listen to anything that gives me fear. And then you let the kids starve, blah blah blah. And you know what? Maybe the kids end up surviving because you know what? Maybe child protection services or whatever, you know, child neglect services, you know, they come and they find out that you're on some bullshit. They take your kids have survived, they have foster homes, they have whatever, they get adopted. So the kids, you know, let's say you let it rock out to its worst case scenario, but then the kids end up surviving and shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it wasn't anything to fear because your kids did end up surviving. You probably also ended up surviving or whatever. But it's like, imagine you let shit go to that, a whole lot more chaos was gonna ensue. Because you see what I'm saying? Now your kids are not with you. Now they're all over the spot because they done got adopted by foster care and this, then the third, and you've done got proven that you can't take care of kids, and now women across the board are just like have this label that they cannot take care of kids because blah blah blah. They so nonchalant. They don't listen to their fears. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta listen to that fear, that insecurity that makes you probably overperform. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it becomes a problem when you overperform. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a problem when you overperform. But that performance is necessary, dog. Come on. I'm wrong? That performance is necessary, bro. Now I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at both sides of this thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the real lesson here is realize that that's what you're doing, and realize that, you know, judging other people has more to do with your own self than your environment. Because, okay, think about it like this. This is my last point. Your environment is yourself. Extended. It's an extended version of yourself. So if you behave a certain way within your environment, you know what I'm saying, it is because you're trying to be your authentic self without any fear or, you know, any insecurities about being your complete self. So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever affects your environment is gonna affect you. If you don't take care of your room, dog, it will affect your mind. And, you know, your mind being affected negatively, it's gonna affect your productivity and what you produce for the world. If that's negativity, then yeah, well, you can complete that picture. I'm saying, but